First commit, William Kyle to Syracuse.
You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into Locked On Syracuse. I'm Jackson Holzer, and thank you for making us your first listen of every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And folks, thank you so much for bearing with me here. It is a late night. I am recording this on Thursday, March 27th at 11:29 p.m. Eastern. It's a mini podcast. Why are you recording a mini podcast so late? Glad you asked. Well, Syracuse basketball out of nowhere gets its first transfer portal commit. And the reason why I say out of nowhere is because we didn't see any public leaks about this. We didn't see any William Kyle has received interest in or William Kyle is scheduling a visit. Nope. It just sort of happened. Syracuse basketball gets its first transfer portal commit of 2025. It is UCLA center William Kyle per himself. He announced it on social media. Let's talk about William Kyle's background, his journey to Syracuse, his projected role for next season, and what's next for Syracuse going forward. First, a little bit of info for you here. William Kyle is 6'9", 215 pounds with 1 year of college eligibility remaining. Now we can get to the backstory, okay? So William Kyle spent his first two collegiate seasons at South Dakota State in the Summit League. And in 2023-24, William Kyle was one of the best players in the Summit League. He averaged 13 points a game, 7 rebounds, and over 1.5 blocks per game. Also shot 62% from the field. He is not much of an outside shooter, but still very good around the rim. And he was named the Summit League's best defensive player. That's right. However, it's a little bit misleading when you dive a little bit deeper into William Kyle because he could jump out the gym. He's got a long wingspan. He got a lot of blocks. Yet for some reason, he had an Evan Maya defensive rating that year of negative 0.25. That was third worst on the team. So is he a good defender? I guess we're going to find out this year at Syracuse. Who knows? But then after that season, William Kyle, he enters the transfer portal. He was a top 100 overall transfer over on On3, and he committed to UCLA. But at UCLA, he plays in 32 games, and he didn't really see the floor a ton. He did not start in any of them. He played less than 10 minutes a night, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 0.6 blocks a game, which I guess is really good for the amount of minutes that he played. He also shot a ridiculous 70% from the field. That's right. So this is someone who you know can translate at the next level, at least around the rim and finishing near the basket. And he also did improve his defense as far as his defensive rating. It was a positive 0.36. Obviously, after 2025, he decides to jump back into the transfer portal. And like I said off the top, it just came out of nowhere. I'm sitting here on my couch. I'm watching Syracuse, or not Syracuse. How can I be watching Syracuse basketball? Oh, no. I'm watching Duke and Arizona in the first half, and all of a sudden, notification, Syracuse's first transfer portal commit. So here we all are talking about William Kyle. What are your thoughts on the William Kyle edition? Comment in the comment section below, because coming up, we'll talk about his projected role for next season and what's next for Syracuse basketball. So stick with me here on Locked On Syracuse. We're all about the stats because numbers don't lie. And when it comes to the all-new Nissan Armada PRO-4X, the numbers are on an MVP level with the ability to tow up to 8,500 pounds. It can quite literally carry the whole team plus the gear wherever you need to go. It's powered by a twin-turbo V6 engine, delivering the strength and performance to handle highways, back roads, and everything in between. And with room for up to 8 people, the Armada PRO-4X is built for big crews, big adventures, and even bigger memories. Whether you're exploring off-road trails or rolling up to the arena, the Armada PRO-4X brings power, versatility, and style wherever you go. Take your adventures to new heights in the all-new Nissan Armada PRO-4X. Learn more at nissanusa.com. Daylight savings snuck up on us again, and if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5-Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through, whether you're staying up late watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep up with a busy day. 5-Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. With longer days, I love going outside for a hike or a run. Tropical Burst is my go-to for a quick boost. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. Need one now? Grab a 5-Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They're everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized. This is Locked On Syracuse. I'm Jackson Holzer, and we are reacting to Syracuse basketball's first transfer portal edition of the offseason. They get a 6'9" center from UCLA, William Kyle. I would love to hear from you in the comments section below. Do you think William Kyle could be the diamond in the rough for Syracuse basketball in this transfer portal class? Because we're going to talk about his role for this upcoming season and what's next for Syracuse basketball. William Kyle is long. He's really athletic. He's someone that can jump like crazy, and he can also run up and down the floor. However, this is also someone that is incredibly raw. So he's going to need to be coached up a bit, and hopefully he can fit into the right system, preferably one that runs up and down the floor. Perhaps that's what Adrian Autry wants to do next season with Syracuse basketball. Now, William Kyle is also said to be a really good defender, and the shot blocking numbers will tell you that. So maybe he could provide good rim protection for Syracuse next year. However, I do find it curious that the Evan Maya defensive ratings for him don't necessarily match up to the accolades that he has. So that's something that we're going to simply have to monitor going through the season. Here's the deal with William Kyle, all right? If he's the diamond in the rough for Syracuse basketball in this transfer portal class, that would be great. That would be outstanding. Maybe this is a player that truly just needs the right system, and he could go back to being an elite big. Doesn't really matter the conference. He could play 25 minutes a game. He could be at the 4. He could be at the 5. Play good defense. Score 10 points a game. Get you 7-8 rebounds. That would be outstanding, right? That's if he's really a diamond in the rough. By the way, Syracuse basketball, in this new transfer portal era, have they ever gotten a diamond in the rough? Have they ever gotten someone that wasn't necessarily rated that high in the portal, and that player ends up way exceeding expectations? No, right? So let's hope that the scouting is right on this player, on William Kyle, that he fits Syracuse basketball. If he doesn't, if it just does not work out with the Orange, he simply becomes a depth player for the Orange next season. So what now for Syracuse basketball after this move? William Kyle alone should not take Syracuse out of the center market. However, if this is the only move that Syracuse makes at center, it's one of two reasons. It tells me that the market is just ridiculously high on centers and they do not want to pay for one of the top centers available, or, and it kind of goes hand in hand, they simply cannot afford one of the top centers. On3's Jamie Shaw, he published an article earlier this offseason that the top centers in the portal are expected to command $1.5 and $2 million in NIL money. That's a lot of money for one center. So that's what it probably tells me if they don't go after another center in the portal. As far as what Syracuse still needs in the transfer portal, they still need at least 2 studs, preferably one of them being at the point guard spot, And then aside from that, they also need some shooters. They need guys that could knock down a 3, especially because while losing Chris Bell doesn't appear to be that big of a deal, he did shoot 38% from the 3-point line last season. So you're going to have to find a way to replace that in the transfer portal. What do you think Syracuse basketball still needs this offseason? And what role do you think William Kyle will play for Syracuse next year? Comment in the comments section below. As far as what is coming up on Locked On Syracuse tomorrow, we got too many podcasts for you. We'll do a catch-up podcast on all the players that Syracuse is publicly interested in. Remember, there was nothing public about the William Kyle commitment. It just sort of happened. But we do know of some players that Syracuse has contacted. It is verified. It is out there. And we'll talk about all of them in a mini podcast tomorrow. Plus, Poll Friday is tomorrow. Over under 4.5 players that Syracuse basketball adds in the portal. I'll spoil that for you right now. It is going to be over 4.5. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. If you like this podcast, be sure to hit that like button. If you really enjoy the podcast, be sure to hit subscribe. Tell all your friends about Locked On Syracuse so this channel can grow and reach all Syracuse Orange fans. And I will see you all again soon.